Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about the first big fork in Echoes of the Eye. Did you or did you not find the rear entrance? In the last video I said that I thought it would be pretty common to miss it because you can only find it in one place, and the puzzle there is a weird one-off mechanic that doesn't appear anywhere else in the game. So I said a lot of people are probably going to miss this, and I got a lot of comments from people that missed it. So yes, that is correct. A lot of people missed it, but they still played through the game and enjoyed themselves. I think that they had a radically different experience than I did, and I would like to discuss the different kinds of experiences you're going to have depending on which entrances you find. But first, let's find it. Where the heck is it? Well, it's behind a giant metal beam, this one, in a shadow. It's going to be very challenging to find if you're not told where it is. There it is. So what is this place? This is the Artifact Research Lab, where they decided how to build, the final form factor of our artifacts. These. Now, just like the three bears, the first version of the artifact was too cold. This thing. It couldn't hold the fire. The second version of the artifact was a little too hot. Yeah, that didn't go so well. If you look at this tape deck over here, this slideshow, it actually shows you that artifact, and it's this artifact but without the port at the end. So presumably it overheated and exploded because there was no exhaust port. And then this, of course, is the one that we're using today. And the slideshow over there just says the same thing from a different point of view, so I'm not going to show it to you, because that would take away precious time that I want to spend discussing what entering from here actually means. Yep, this artifact works fine. So from a story perspective, you're not missing anything if you don't come here. Learning how the artifacts were made is completely unimportant. By the way, there is this mechanic here where we've got these special windows. This is not used anywhere else in the game as far as I know. There's so many of these one-off mechanics that are just randomly strewn in, like this game was originally 30 hours longer than it is right now. I'm not sure. Anyway, what does entering from here mean if, you don't learn anything of story value here or of mechanical value here? Why is entering from here so important? Well, because if you enter from here, you're likely to explore the third tower first, this tower. If this is your first tower, you have a very specific experience, and I'm going to show you that experience right now. Now, if you were on the ball and you entered into the first or second tower first, then you would have had a very different experience, and I would like to hear from you. I'm going to make some guesses later on about what that experience would be like, but I'm going to show you how this experience unfolded for me and why I think that it might be the best option. It might have been the intended experience. First off, this is the first place where I saw these, heavy metal gothic corpses. I'd gone into the bell, but the bell didn't have any corpses. So you have to understand that if you don't go into the first or second tower and you come here, you don't know that there are people. These are corpses. As far as you know, the dream world is dead. So with that in mind, because the rest of the game has been like that. Everybody's been dead. The only people are your contemporaries. Everybody else is a corpse. So with that in mind, let's talk about the mechanics that we learn in this huge dream world. And I gotta say, I really love this being the first dream world just because of the visual of coming out like this, where you just see this lit up castle, this little mansion. I think that is a wonderful way to start the dream world, where you're like, oh, the bell was just a tiny, tiny piece of this. It's actually much, much larger. The other two worlds, we'll discuss what it would mean to discover them first when we go to them and talk about them. You also learn this mechanic nice and early. So as far as you know, this is just a big empty place. There's nobody in it, because there's no concept of people in this game yet. If you go downstairs, you're going to find a missing bridge. Now, I originally thought it was an invisible bridge, walked off it and cratered, but you've got this guy telling you, you should be able to light up a bridge here, but you can't do it from this angle. You got to be on the other side. And here we can find, what the heck? What is this? This is one of the reasons why I think this mansion was intended to be the first place that you visit, because I find that the other dream worlds do not teach you what the hands are very well. This one does it really easily and naturally. You're like, what the heck is that? Oh. Oh. And we're going to discuss, whether the other worlds teach you that as well when we get to them. There are a lot of one-way locked doors here, and one of the things this game doesn't teach you is how to open those doors. So you're going to learn that the hard way, but at the moment, you still don't know anything about it. So as far as you know, these are just like permanently closed doors that never matter. What? Is there someone down there? If you're like me, you're thinking, oh, they scripted an event where we would get to see like a faded shadow of one of the people in this world. Oh, it's giving me chills just thinking about it. I mean, it's probably not actually a person. They wouldn't do that, but like, what if we could like talk to him or something? Or okay. And that is why I think this one is the best place to start. Because as far as you know, this world doesn't have people in it. And you see that one thing and you're still not sure. Is the game gonna give you a person? Is the game gonna show you a dude? What is it gonna do? Is there a dude in there that we can't really make out yet? Or not? Well, let's go ahead and go through it a little bit further. And obviously, if you've played the game before, you already know what's going to happen here. This is basically just a big, confusingly laid out room. There's nothing in it except for this, which allows you to put a bridge across. And that will allow you to get across that barrier. So if we were to go out around here, we can grab the hand from the other side that we saw originally. There it is. Just grab it, and away we go. And now we're back with that first hand again. And there's the bridge. And so we could cross this bridge and try and figure out what's up with this place, right? Can we get down to the lower floor? We can. Oh, look at this place. Beautiful. This is super, super obviously a doorway. And it's super, super obvious that if you can blow out these lights, you'll manage to get through it. But how do you blow out the lights? Well, if you already saw that in one of the incinerator rooms, then you already know the answer. But if you're like me, I came in here just before finding that incinerator room, and so I found that mechanic out a little bit, by trial and error. And then you can come out here over to this side, and this is all behind the bridge. So you can't get here or from here across back to the other side if that bridge is out. At least you don't think you can. But there is this down elevator, right? So if we take that down elevator down, This is the river. The river connects all of the virtual worlds, and we could take it now, but we're going to hold off on that. I've taken you on a tour of this place, sort of to give you the feel of what it's like to play this place first. You'll see that antler head, the shadow of an antler head, and you'll be concerned and weirded out, but then nothing happens for a really long time because you're exploring and whatever that was doesn't appear to be coming after you or anything. So where else is there to explore? Well, we didn't actually go up. So let's go back to the entrance. Here it is. That's where we started. And if we go up, what do we find? Well, more one-way doors. But around these one-way doors, we're also going to discover... Well, what's this way? More one-way doors. Okay. Is there anything to discover? More one-way doors? Well, where does this go? Oh, neat, neat. Now, if you've seen the incinerator room, you already know what this place is. This is the invisible bridge. But how long would it take you to figure that out if you hadn't seen the incinerator room? Well, that's an interesting question. I don't know. Let me know if you had that experience and we're trying to figure out how to get here, because there's two ways to get here. And one of the ways is a little bit strange. So the basic idea here is that you do not have to go across that bridge. You can actually get here right from the start, which is important because you're going to have to be able to do this part first. Oh, that's not it. It's mean, isn't it? Look at how mean this is. Ugh, mean. So, what's this? I can't turn anything on, and I vaguely remember seeing them turn something off. What was that? What was that? Is there something in the house? What screamed? Well, let's go and get that bridge ready to cross this guy here. Go down and around. The door is open. The door is open when you blow out the lights? Whoa! That's cool. Alright, here we are. Now we just have to go to... Well, all these doors are open now. What does that mean? We're in the room, the projector room. We can like see maybe what he was projecting on the screen. What is that? Yeah. And that's why I like the mansion as a starting point. Now, that does have a couple of small downsides. The first of the downsides is that the actual mansion puzzle is annoying as hell. Trying to get through that area without triggering the guards is almost impossible unless you already understand how the guards work. So you can easily spend half an hour or 45 minutes or 2 hours banging your head against this, constantly getting caught by that guard, and every single time it is absolutely terrifying. And I don't know if you caught on to that because I was talking through it, but they put in some really good animations and they put in some stings, and it's just like every single time that guard spots you, it's terrifying. And here's the thing. I thought there was only one guard, which is why it was so hard for me to sneak through, because I was trying to avoid the one guard. turns out there's like 8. There's a huge number of people in there. And it's not incredibly obvious that that's true. And so I thought that the guards were roving around in a completely unpredictable pattern, maybe even teleporting or something, because I could not figure out how to avoid them. So what I was eventually trying to do was I was like, okay, well, I know that there is a guard like up there. This is where he starts. We should be able to see him if we get lucky. But he comes around into here pretty frequently, like right there. So if we could lure him out onto this bridge, the one I'm standing on right now, then we could turn the bridge off and drop him into the frickin' river. And I tried for an hour to do that. And eventually I gave up and moved on to the other 2 towers, because that's kind of what you're supposed to do. But at the time, I was trying to solve this puzzle because I thought I was at the edge of solving it. It would have been nicer if there was some kind of like actual stop here, like thing that made it real clear that you probably aren't going to solve this on your first time through and you should go investigate other things, because that was the downside of going into this place. There he is. The experience was incredibly good for the first bit, like I just showed you. And after that, it got really rough because I tried to get through over and over and over, and every single time it was just not working out. And eventually I actually got so annoyed that I ranted about it. And the devs actually responded to that. The puzzle is not too hard once you realize how the guards work, but there's no way for you to know how the guards work. Not until you can see them very clearly, and this is not a place where you can see them very clearly. Come on out. Oh, you cheater. You big cheater. So let me know whether or not this is the first place that you encountered the Po2, a living specimen, whether you went to the other ones first, what sort of, experiences you had. We're going to go to one of the other towers next time and talk about the experience of going to that tower as your first tower. But since I didn't do that, I'm going to be extrapolating. So if you did go to one of the other ones first, let me know how you felt and whether or not you learned the core mechanics nice and easily there. Also, note that there are some core mechanics I explicitly skipped over for this tower. We're going to come back to it once we've done a full sweep. Have a good day.